Hello. So I'm going to try to show you what's happening and where in the source code. So the first thing that I'm going to do is to log in into the application. Then I'm going to open the project. So I'm now going to open the project, have it here, and I'm opening the project and finish. Okay, so let's look at what's happening and where. So when I press the image, is going to show me the image and is going to show me if there is a vertical line. So the way the source code is the image is adjusted with this size, and therefore the comparison, the percentage high will be calculated from the position on the image on that size. As you can see here, one of the changes that I did during the morning when I was recording the video, I realized that some of the fields were zero. The same way that the pixel size here is also zero. So I have to double check why I'm getting a zero. So let's go into the source code so that you can see what's happening and where. So this is the project view. So on the project view controller, when we load an image, what we are actually doing is to load this a method, a view called new project view export, project view display image controller. So when you click on the image, these are the methods that are loaded into the memory. I'm going to probably to close this and make it bigger so that we can see what's happening and where. Okay, so let's go to the project view controller and let's quickly scroll down to the place where everything is loaded. Project views here, export, generate report. Here is where the report is generated, and project display. So here is where all the fields are being generated. So let's look at the image and how this is generated. So what happens here is going to check if there are any values for x0 and y0, point number 0, and x1 and y1. So if the values are different from 1.0 f, which is the default value that I assign when there is no point, then it generates the small rectangle that you see on the image. Let me show you here. So it's composed by a rectangle here and another rectangle here, and this is a line that is drawn. Uh, so, so it checks if any of them are different from zero, and if 2 points are detected, then it also draws the line. If not, what it does, it deletes the value, and every time that an operation is executed, it is saved into the file. Set image or saving. Okay, so here is where it's calculated. So as I said before, what we do is we draw the lines, and then what we do is we subtract y1 by y0. So for example, if this is my y1 and this is my y0, I subtract those two values to have the length of the line. And this gives me the TIH. Now, to compute the PTIH, what I'm doing is to divide the TIH by the size, by the resize size of the image. It's not the original, not size, height. It's not original height, but is the height on this canvas. Okay, so for example, so what I'm doing now is subtracting, and this is going to give me the percentage high. So the TIH is then the percentage high multiplied by the real image height of the image. And this is the value that I'm going to propagate into all the computations. The computations are done on this file called image format. And what this does is it takes the image with the image height, the TIH, and the unit type, and then it computes the PTIH, um, which is the TIH divided by the image height. And then what I have here on this line, what we are trying to do here is trying to check um, the dimensions of the image and check if any of these is recognized. And if it's recognized, then it's going to check the standard. Okay. Also, what I want to highlight is for each standard that I came across, I have here the reference numbers that I got. That's how it's going to detect the dory, if it's which standard it's going to use. Now, another information that is very important is the unit type. So if the unit type is the imperial, then it's going to multiply by the foot constant there and the inch constant here. This for calculating the ppf and the PCN. If it's meters, then it's the TIH multiplied by the meter constant, and the pixel size in millimeters multiplied by the constant divided by the TIH. And then what it does, it adds those values. Now, the next step is to compute what kind of visual task it can do. So in terms of visual task, what it's going to do is to look into the matrix that I have above, and here, if you match it starts to check from the highest to the lowest, and if you match the standard, then what it does is it adds that standard. If it's not recognized, then it has just none. In case this condition, the position index is is not greater or equal to 0, then means it was not recovered, and therefore the format is none, and the support type is also none. So this is what I have. I think I've covered all the equations that you gave me. If you spot an error, please do let me know. There might be an error because as you can see here, each unit type has a type, okay? And when you are doing operations, you want resolution. So for example, when you are, you have to do conversions because when you are displaying, for example, on the screen, so when you are displaying here, this is a string, okay? So this is not a number. So the number gets converted. And sometimes when we are doing the conversions, we come across problems, okay? So, and the principle is always the same, okay? So every time that this happens, that you select, it goes through that procedure and updates everything. Also, if you look at, if I go now to generate report, you'll see that the numbers are not 0 anymore. I only recognized that when I was recording the video, and what I did was straight away I tried to figure out where the error was. Um, So this is what I get with a report. Um, and also and I'm going to export this into CSV and send you the CSV so that you can analyze in detail. So just have to finish here and it gets generated. Documents, so documents, and it's here. So if I now, as you can see here, it has been generated 604 and is now 605. I'm now going to open. I also noticed when I sent you the email that the percentage TIH was not in the hundreds range. So what I did was to convert this into, so here you can say that it's 48%, 28%. Okay, so I'm now going to close this and I'm going to send you this. I also want to show you the problem that I was facing with the application. As you can see, the application works well, but and the file that I'm able to run is called a jar file. So when I do an export and when I select runnable jar, what I do is going to record there. I don't need this, and I'm packaging everything that is required. Okay, so when I attempt to open the file, I just have to OneDrive, NTU. Now I have to go to proposals, projects, sorry, projects, SGW, and version 1, where I have, as you can see, when I launch it through my development environment, I don't have any problem. But when I run it through the command line, java.jar, it generates this error saying that it's not finding this file here, which is the first file, the view, and which is actually there. And if I show you here, it's complaining saying that it's not finding the login is the login view, and as you can see the login view is here. So I think I was reading about this, and this is related with links, so I will send you the version that you can run as soon as it's possible. I'm going to also to zip this latest version if you want to go to the source code and see what is happening and where. So home development, Eclipse Java. Okay, and with this, I'm going to finish the this presentation. I believe that I capture everything that you told me during the emails that I've sent. Again, there might be a situation, for example, I have to double check every part where the pixel size is being propagated to make sure that there are no situations where, for some reason, instead of having, for example, a double, I have a integer. Sometimes these errors happens, and what happens is if you have a 0.00 something, if you have an integer, what the integer does is it only picks the decimal number, the zero, and forgets about everything. And of course, if you are doing operations, if you multiply something by zero, then you get a zero. I hope this has been I hope I managed to clarify any question that you may have. Please do advise if there is something that you spotted that may not be correct. So I'll see you next time.